you? How does that mean? You were.
There you go. Yeah, it's good when the ball doesn't hit the ground. It was a good day.
More, did you have baby oil on today?
No. Yeah, that's not my question right there. I did do it as a kid, though. We can't even ask that no more, bro. It's too much going on in life right now with that, man. We can't do that.
Smart answer there, Jamar Chase. Not so smart that you saved all of the real losers from week 4 of football. The Bills collapsed in primetime. The Jags fall to 0-4. Not even the Titans did that, Jacksonville. And Aaron Rodgers fell to a rookie quarterback who threw for 60 yards. You might have heard about that. God bless America for that. God bless it. I'm Brendan Perna, and we're going to have fun reviewing the real winners and losers for NFL Week 4. But first, the only thing that has been banned from more schools than books, the Block 10. Suck it, George Orwell. I was born in 1984, and now my list is more controversial than your book. Block 10, Jordan Love arrives to the game in a Packers Brett Favre jersey as he was ready to allegedly swindle the Vikings, just like vintage Favre. He unsuccessfully robbed the poor, and he channeled Favre's second worst trait, turnovers. No more blop-worthy than this throw that went through 2 Packers' hands right to the Vikings as they trailed 21-0. Blop 9, the sound Tony Romo makes when he sees Patrick Mahomes take out Rashee Rice.
Hits his teammate.
I don't know what it is about these announcers, but they can't watch Mahomes do anything without rediscovering their latent sexuality.
Hits his teammate.
Blop 8, Joe Flacco is the same age as Anthony Richardson's mom.
Listen, he told me his mom is 8 days older than I am.
Well, if this isn't the perfect plot for a romantic comedy, I don't know what is. My Step Backup, coming to CBS this fall.
So there's no chance in the world that he thinks I'm cool.
Blop 7, a Raiders fan eating a severed leg? This used to be one of the more normal things you'd see a Raiders fan do before they moved to Las Vegas. They wouldn't let you into the Coliseum in Oakland without a ticket and the bones of your enemies. Blop 6, Ryan Williams, Bama receiver, wrote an inspiring message on his iBlack on Saturday. Kill everybody. See, this is why you go to college, kids. Ryan properly used everybody and not everyone, as this wasn't a formal setting for the word, and correctly chose the casual use for spoken language, reserved for family and friends. Stay in school. Blop 5, Tom Brady. Well, Tom's really in a corner because it's hard to clap back at someone who called you an asshole without completely proving their point.
Stressful was not having Super Bowl rings. This wasn't daycare. If I wanted to have fun, I was going to go to Disneyland with my kids.
Motherfucker, your family divorced you because you chose football over taking them to Disneyland.
I love no apologies.
Blop 4, Dan Quinn's hand signals.
Really inspirational, and that's the kind of guy Dan Quinn is.
Okay, we're all thinking about drawing 2 juicy wieners between his hands, animating some girthy behemoths in there, and looping it for an hour, but hats off to the clean tweet going viral for a Phil Collins drumming reference. That is rare, because literally drumming references are now used for jerk-off jokes. Blop 3, the worst trick play ever. Anytime you can pitch the ball to a stationary quarterback in the direction of the pursuit, you have to do it, right, Buffalo? Blop 2, the entire Titans-Dolphins game. Not only was this bad, it looked worse because Lions-Seahawks was so exciting, airing simultaneously. Now the Dolphins have had a lead for 0 minutes and 0 seconds this entire season. I have that same stat, Miami. They do have a win on a last-second field goal, which is pretty impressive. Tyreek Hill is so mad, though, that he's about to ask the Miami police to handcuff him again because that's the last time they won. Miami's night can be summed up by this backwards pass that was eventually correctly ruled a fumble. But just like in the Broncos game, the refs blew the play dead, costing Tennessee a touchdown. Do I have a coffee for that? Fuck the refs over at benchwarmershop.com. The only coffee more bold than those bad calls. Tyler Huntley looked lost in the Dolphins offense, putting up Bo Nix passing numbers. Will Levis threw a pick to a defensive lineman. Suffered an AC joint injury diving for a first down. A beautiful leap, and they didn't even give him a first down here. And Tennessee was too dumb to challenge the play. Will sacrificed his shoulder for nothing. Blop. Now Mason Rudolph was inserted into the game after Will Levis shit his pants on the sideline. The Titans do win behind a couple of rushing touchdowns, leaving the Jags as the only winless team in the NFL. But Will Levis is hitting blops on 4 straight weeks. This might become the Levis 10. It might have to be the Levis 10. And Blop 1, holy shit, NBC. Why'd you do Josh Rosen like this? Poor Josh Rosen. I'll be honest, I didn't even know the Wharton School of Business had a football team. But come back Wednesday to see if they make it into power rankings. And my Blop 0, Alan Lazard gets flagged for finger guns? Now you might think a flag here was extreme, but what you didn't see on that television was that the imaginary bullets hit and killed Fireman Ed. Rest in peace, Fireman Ed. I saw it because I actually watched the All-22. Let's stay at the Meadowlands, okay? Thursday Night Football and Sunday. 100,000 Giants and Jets fans attended MetLife Stadium this last week, all to watch their home teams lose. My losing deep balls, well, that's going to Daniel Jones. We know for sure Daniel Jones can't go balls deep. He certainly can't deposit any Danny Dimes because he's not allowed in banks. This became painfully obvious on Thursday night as the Giants fell to the Cowboys for the 7th straight time. And if Jones had just shown some accuracy on one single downfield throw, maybe the Giants would have won. My dishonorable mention for bad deep balls, Trevor Lawrence, missing this wide open pass to Christian Kirk. That could have been the difference for Jacksonville as well. And I actually agree with head coach Dougie Peterson saying their players need to execute.
We as coaches, we can't go out there and make the plays, right? It's a two-way street. So
just point to this play. And while those two derps couldn't drop dimes, Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes, who are well-versed on monetary exchange, traded FDRs in the Chiefs-Chargers game. Not all FDRs are the same length, but no matter how you count them, FDRs are still worth 6. Winning quarterback? I'd be remiss if I didn't use this opportunity to highlight 39-year-old father of 5, Joseph Flacco. Oh yeah, I'm Flacco for Flacco, baby. Losing deja vu, Anthony Richardson getting injured in week 4 again. He came off the field for one play, went back in, they call the run to Richardson, who collapses and takes another hit. You just saw your quarterback take a shot, and you have him carry the rock?
I doubt that Steichen is going to run the RPO.
Boy, he's going to run it again.
That might be my losing play call of the week, Shane.
I'm shocked.
Flacco didn't have the most spectacular stats, all right, but I think his 168 yards and 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions against an excellent Steelers defense is a huge deal. He's got the face of a leading man, but we know he's best as a supporting actor. That was a big win for Indy to beat the previously undefeated Steelers and climb back to 500. And I think they're a lot more dangerous with Flacco under center. Justin Fields had another solid game, accounting for 3 total touchdowns, but I've got to give Darnell Washington my winning human specimen award. Just had a beastly play as he jukes and trucks and hurdles his way for a nice gain in this game. My losing quarterback? I don't care if Bo Nix only has 60 yards through the air. A winning quarterback will never win losing quarterback, and that means I'm giving this award to Jalen Hurts. Now, there weren't a lot of quarterbacks with bad stat lines this week per se, but Hurts was pretty underwhelming in the 17-point loss to Tampa Bay, combining for just 178 yards and getting sacked 6 times for a total of 44. Bo Nix, last week, sacked by the Buccaneers defense 0 times. Hurts seems to be teetering on the edge of outright sucking this year, and I'm wondering if he's going to end up costing Nick Sirianni a job in Philly. The Eagles didn't have A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith, but this is a game where you must see your QB pick up the slack. Those receiver injuries did get Paris Campbell his first touchdown since 2022. Winning Spider-Man meme? Buccaneers running backs Bucky Irving and Rashad White each having 10 carries for exactly 49 yards. I love stupid shit like that. I also have to give my under-the-radar winning defender award to Vita Vea. He missed the Broncos game last week, and I think you see that next to Chris Jones, he might be the most important interior defensive player in the league.
The old hump right there. Remember Reggie White had that hump move. He humps the right guard and down goes Jalen Hurts.
He got his first sack in this game and made Philly forget to hand off to Saquon Barkley.
That never feels good when you get humped and then you just get dumped.
Losing a revenge game? Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton went into this game 2-1 versus his former team, the Bengals. He would leave this game 2-2, but did get Xavier Leggett his first NFL touchdown. Losing a fourth straight time to start the season, especially against their old QB, would have set off a disastrous chain of events for the Bengals. We'd be questioning Joe Burrow. Zach Taylor would be on the hot seat, and T. Higgins might be on the trading block as they stared up at the rest of the division. They got their win, the first of 2024, at least in part because the Panthers ran a clinic on how not to tackle, especially on Jamar Chase's 63-yard catch and baby oil touchdown. You wanted to be remembered for baby oil, right, Jamar?
No.
These two teams actually had eerily similar stat lines on offense, but I think the difference was that Carolina was stopped on 4th and goal at the 1-yard line on the final play of a 12-play drive to open the game. That, and they fucked up a fake punt with Johnny Hecker. Can't be doing that. Not with one of the best fakers to ever do it. Winning game manager, Gardner Minshew. This Gardner may not be growing any prize-winning pumpkins this fall, but you won't find a single weed in his fucking garden. 14 completions for 130 yards, no TDs, but no picks as well. The sexiest quarterback from the swamp managed the hell out of a Raiders win. Without Devontae, I want to play for a different team, Adams and Max Crosby. It helps when the losing finish goes to your opposition in Deshaun Watson. For a guy who settled 24 lawsuits for trying to finish, it's ironic that with the game on the line, Deshaun can't even get off the throw. Watson has been bad, very bad. He's also been dealing with some karma, as you can see with picks like this one. More karma? How about that spectacular Amari Cooper touchdown erased from the NFL record books due to a penalty? Really sucks when God definitely doesn't want your quarterback to succeed. And if God had a wife, even she'd leave him for Gardner manager. And somewhere out there, Bo Nix was beating Aaron Rodgers with 60 passing yards. My only Mahomes award, which goes to a throw only Mahomes can make, but another quarterback did it anyway. It's Jaquibus, and some are saying Jackbus. I don't care. My brain almost can't comprehend how Sam Darnold and Justin Jefferson hooked up for this touchdown in Green Bay. I'm not sure Darnold couldn't have handed the ball to him any better. That's got to be frustrating as a corner, knowing you got perfect coverage against the best receiver in the league, and all you have to show for it is this segment on winners and losers, and you're definitely not the winner. My go home, you're drunk award this game, Packers and Vikings. Minnesota was up 28-0, and they needed every single one of those points to hold on to the lead. Somehow the Vikings are the first team to start 4-0 without being more than a 1-point favorite in any of those games. But just like Alabama against Georgia on Saturday night, a 28-point lead got whittled away, eventually ending as a 2-point victory. If the Vikings don't get 3 picks, I don't think they win this game. I mean, fuck, there was 7 total turnovers in this affair. 4 picks and 3 fumbles lost. Ultimately, this game will serve to boost the MVP odds of Sam Darnold, the only quarterback to throw at least 2 TD passes in all 4 games to start this season. All hail Jacubus! And the interception streak continues for former Giant Xavier McKinney. 4th straight pick of the season. We talk a lot about the Giants lamenting the departure of Saquon Barkley, but seeing McKinney be this hot for all of September should have all Giants fans believing in global warming, because nothing should be this hot in September. Did a white corner get an interception this week? Cooper DeJean muffed a punt. -1 point there for white corners. Riley Moss, defensive pass interference in the end zone? No, we're getting further away from this happening. My winning running back? Well, this seemed pretty easy this week. I bend thy knee to King Henry. The only blemish on Derrick Henry's 199-yard performance was his 200th yard, was a fumble into the end zone. But when you beat the Bills so bad, a fumble in the end zone doesn't matter, like at all. It's a good night for you. Derrick Henry now has 4 rushing touchdowns of 70 or more yards in prime time, as many as every other current player combined. He now has the longest rush in Ravens history, and the Ravens are averaging an insane 220 rushing yards per game. Yes, this means my Amber Alert is going out to the Bills for shitting the bed in prime time against a formidable opponent. I can't believe the Bills would get a poop award before Lamar's Ravens. This hurts because I was about to crank out a Bills video called "The Bills Are Definitely Going to the Super Bowl." I feel like the mere thought of that cursed them. I created the Josh Allen Overrated Award this season as a joke, but this week I'm giving it in earnest because you played like earnest, Josh Allen. Buffalo, you can't beat the Jags 47-10 and then fall to the Ravens 35-10. That fucks with my mind, man. And I don't need anybody fornicating this mind. It struggles enough. And of course, Bo Nix was out there somewhere, kicking Aaron Rodgers' ass with 60 passing yards. Winning special teams? The Falcons. They started the game with a muffed punt recovery in the end zone for a score, and they ended the game with Younghoe Koo, who blasted a 58-yard game winner. You know, as long as your young ho isn't too young, nor your cousins, you're good. My losing Spider-Man meme, Kirk Cousins and Derek Carr. 238 yards for Derek, 239 for Cousins on 35 and 36 attempts, and each could only muster one single interception. Matthew Judon's tip leads to a pick six. Is that a tip six? The Storm and Mormon returned with 2 rushing TDs, one from the house cat formation. Taysom's too vanilla to be part of the Wildcat. And one as a straight running back. On the flip side, Tyler Algier continues to prove he's a better pure running back than Bijan. 8 carries, 60 yards to Bijan, 7 for 28. Time to convert Bijan to a receiver and get Algier more touches. You can take the team away from Arthur Smith, but you can't take Arthur Smith away from the team. Losers, fantasy nerds, and Kyle Pitts, who is somehow producing even less with Big Kirko throwing the football. Winning defense, the 49ers. It would be the Broncos, but I already recapped that game in its entirety here. The 49ers dominated Drake May's airbag, Jacoby Brissett, sacking him 6 times. Yes, 6. They forced 2 fumbles, and Fred Warner, the NFL's best linebacker, had a wildly impressive pick 6. He got up so high that he fell flat on his back, then has time to get up untouched and returns it to pay dirt. Defensive lineman Kevin Givens led the way with 2.5 sacks for the Niners unit. Christian McCaffrey went to Germany just so a German doctor could tell him he'd probably be out for 9 weeks. 9 weeks! Okay, I saw that on Twitter somewhere. It's not even my joke, but I liked it. Which gave us our second Jordan Mason game of the season. 123 rushing yards on 24 carries and a TD in this very complete win for the Gold Diggers. Good to see Debo and Kittle get back in the lineup, especially Kittle, high-pointing this touchdown grab with not 1, not 2, but thrice defenders swarming him. Winning stats? The Broncos, Cortland Sutton. He had 3 receptions for 60 yards. 6 other players caught passes for the Broncos and netted 0 yards. The Broncos and Jets game really had all the dumb stats. 60 passing yards is the fewest in the millennium for a quarterback with 25 passing attempts. Bo Nix has more touchdown passes at MetLife Stadium than Daniel Jones this season. Did I mention Bo Nix getting the win with 60 passing yards? Did I mention that today? For comparison, Anthony Richardson had 71 passing yards on 3 completions against the Steelers. Bo completed 12. This will be the toughest conspiracy for Rodgers to decode. My winning team, Washington. All 3 rookie quarterbacks got a win on Sunday, but Jane Daniels is allergic to incompletions. The guy just doesn't let the ball touch the ground. Jane Daniels is first in completion percentage. not in the league, but in NFL history through the first 4 games of his career. He's completing 82%. Even Drew Brees couldn't fathom that shit. In his 3rd straight win, Daniels was 26 of 30, threw a TD, ran for another one. The Commies put up 42 total, and now Washington is somehow starting to look like the class of the NFC East. Gotta give the revenge dagger to Cliff Kingsbury. The revenge dagger? Did I just invent something that could compete with the angry run scepter? Yes, I did. On to Amazon to purchase me a dagger. Johnny, put a cool dagger in my hand. Now we'll get a real one. The revenge dagger. Cliff imposed his will upon his former team with the Commanders' run game. Something lost in the Commanders' hype. They are 3rd in the NFL through Sunday with a very nice 169 yards per game on the ground. Brian Robinson ripped 100. Jeremy McNichols, 8.5 yards per carry and 2 TDs. And Jaden added that final touchdown, plus 47, giving Washington 216 yards on the ground. Losers, any rookie quarterback not named Jaden. Drake May didn't do shit. Michael Penix didn't do shit. J.J. McCarthy didn't do shit. Improving? The Bears rookie and Caleb Williams, who was jumping for joy after getting the Bears back to 500, showing improvement every single week. He and Nix are both 2-2, and neither quarterback tossed a pick this weekend. DeAndre Swift looks like a real running back for the first time since 2023, with 93 yards and a touchdown, and nothing will help Caleb more than a respectable run game. Winning pitch? This pitch by Matthew Stafford. I think this is better than his no-look Super Bowl pass, honestly. Rookie defender Austin Booker had a game with a nasty hit at the end of that play, and he got one on Stafford as well. I'm happy I'm not making arrangements to go to Stafford's funeral after that hit. Booker, been doing this all season, by the way. Losing injuries? They're 4-0, but the Chiefs are now going to be without Rashee Rice for the season. That's along with Hollywood Brown and then Isaiah Pacheco out for at least 8 weeks. They're entering LA Rams territory for injuries. Mahomes threw one of the costliest interceptions of his career against the Chargers, not just because it cost the Chiefs 3 points, but also because Mahomes himself accidentally injures his top target, Rice, at the end of the play. It's really unfortunate. Now, I'm not going to argue that he's the best quarterback in January on, but I think we're being deliberately obtuse if Josh Allen isn't at least in the same tier for the regular season. What did Josh Allen do Sunday night? Oh yeah, shit, no. Let's show some love, though, to Nico Collins, my winning receiver this week, who was a massive part of the Texans' 4-point win over the Jaguars, including a couple grabs on their game-winning drive. This season, though, Collins, Week 1, 117 yards, followed by 135 yards, followed by 86 yards, and now 12 receptions for a $151 and a TD against a division rival. Collins has 489 yards through the month, almost halfway to 1,000 already, and he's got 103 more yards than anyone else in the league so far. And CJ Stroud capped their game-winning drive with a touchdown pass to Dare Ogunbowale, the former Jags back, in a sweet revenge score. 4 catches for Ogunbowale as Houston gets the win without Joe Mixon in the backfield. And the next time it rains, just remember Bo Nix used that same rain to beat Aaron Rodgers' ass with 60 passing yards. Now, Joe Flacco got the winning quarterback because Jared Goff is now in God tier. Jared Goff on Monday night was perfect. 18 for 18, 292 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 1 receiving touchdown. No other quarterback has ever finished a game without an incompletion with at least 11 attempts. From now on, if a quarterback has a game with 0 incompletions, they're gonna get the Goff Award, because nobody fucking beats Goff. Nobody. Somehow that's still not good enough for a perfect passer rating, though.
Well, I just gave the game ball to somebody else, so I feel awful right now.
And since Amon-Ra St. Brown threw Goff his touchdown, the Lions became the first team to have 2 guys catch a touchdown with a 100% completion rate. Amon-Ra, rah. Now, if Goff didn't go God mode in this one, the story would have been the running backs, all 3 of them, or the fact that the Lions secondary can't cover without drawing pass interference. Seattle put up 516 yards of offense, but still lost 29-42. David Montgomery had the most moderately peeved run, copyright reasons, of the season. He and Jahmyr Gibbs combined for 3 rushing touchdowns. J-Mo broke free for another score. But the best back in the game was actually Seattle's Kenneth Walker. 6.7 yards per carry, 3 rushing touchdowns, and you can just tell everything works better for the Seahawks offense when he's on the field. Plus, there was this tackle where he didn't go down. I think the top of his helmet touches here, but this shit's insane. But Seattle, you've got a good team. Not as good as the Lions, who now have the NFL referees on their side, but good. And the Lions haven't had the refs on their side since, ever. 100 pass interference calls for Carlton Davis and Terrion Arnold, just not when it mattered the most here in the end zone. And no automatic review here for what was a 2-point conversion, which there should have been. So if you have a problem with the officiating in this game, Seahawks fans, call 1-800-FUCK-THE-REFS or just go to benchwarmershop.com to file an official complaint. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube. And don't forget to come back tomorrow for Power Rankings. I do a live show every Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning with Tom Grossi called GPS. So if you are a football head, come listen to us live.